we'll start here just in case the traffic goes nuts. But we can see the dates there. This week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, this week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah. I'm here with the very beautiful. You're alone now within the Delgany Dramatic Society. You're
I'm the boss.
The boss. There we go. The head honcho, the Godfather.
That's right. Yeah.
Now you've got 3 plays. I know Peter Robbie's written one of them. You've got Arnold Bennett and
we have indeed.
Phil Hill.
Peter Robbie, of course, it's great to have Peter a member of the group because he's not only an actor and director himself.
Actually, I suppose the traffic is going to start messing with us.
I think it's a bit too
We'll
much.
talk as we're going in.
Yeah.
But he's an all-rounder.
He's
really,
an all-rounder, very fine actor, and he's directing his own work with this piece. This is a
cool.
short play.
Yeah.
An interesting play. It takes place in limbo. The offices of limbo,
right?
And it's where Satan and God are fighting over the souls of mankind.
Hey!
So it's an interesting, quirky little piece.
Yeah, the average Irish bar too kind of has a similar tone sometimes.
That's right. That's exactly it.
Well,
that's
and Peter's great for the wit. I'm guessing it's somewhat black and comedic rather than.
He's rather dark.
But comedy hides a lot of.
But there's a lot of comedy in his dark writing, and he's
which is the best kind of writing.
Yeah, it goes down well. Audiences enjoy it. They seem to be able to relate to that sort of thing. It works terribly well for them, you know.
I missed just the last time. I was trying to catch you guys. The last time you're it's more than once a year. You guys
we do twice a year. We usually do. November is fairly fixed.
Right.
We March, April is the other time of year where we do something, depending on availability, and it's not the most popular time of year. November is the big one. November is the big one. We get great support. Great local support.
It is. How old is it now? It's been around for quite a while.
We've been around now. Believe it or not, next year will be 20 years
Boom,
since we set up this society.
That's great.
And I was there at the beginning. Part of the outset.
Nice.
You know.
You've only been only 7 or 8 then.
7 or 8, or maybe 9.
You're
maybe
very
9.
ambitious
You know.
as a kid, though.
So absolutely. Yeah. But
is,
we've had a great group. There's a great buzz about the group. There's they're really enthusiastic, and it's a big community group. We've members of the group from all over, from Shankill, Bray, Greystones, Kilcool, Wicklow, you know, and all stations in between. It's not a purely local Delgany group.
Can you remember that birth like 19 years ago, whether there was a certain instigation?
There was, yeah. I mean, there was much. It was very parochial at that stage, and there was much talk about we should do something about this. You know, there's talent in the parish, as it were, and we should do something about it. And myself and 2 others, sadly now both deceased, set up the group.
Right.
As I say, 20 years ago, in June of 1998, and we've been going ever since. We've stuck with 1-act plays. We find that suits our group.
Right.
It suits people's availability and the time they can commit to rehearsal and so forth. So it actually works well for us, and it also means we can get more people involved.
Right, which is always a nice thing.
With 3 plays now this time coming up again. 3 plays. I think we probably have about 18 people involved, you know, or maybe a few more with backstage and so forth, but it just involves a bigger number of the group. And
would there be? I don't know. There was a sense that you hit the ground running. Was it a few years of finding your feet? Because as I said, to me, it just seems like it's been there forever.
It's been there forever. Yeah.
As a solid.
I think what really got us going was that I managed to persuade them, because I have an involvement myself and have done for 12 years past with the Bray 1-Act Drama Festival. And I was director of that particular operation for 12 years. I've passed the baton now for 2018 to a colleague, but I remain on the committee. But I persuaded them to let me take them to Bray. And we took a play to Bray back in I think it was 2004 or 5. My memory is not quite clear on that. 204 or 205, and we went on from there really to have great success. We've won the festival once. We've been runner-up twice, and we've had best comedy twice.
Great.
And a large number of individual awards. So it's really been very good for the group. Right. And it's a little bit of friendly competition. It's not the All Ireland.
Right.
It's not the All Ireland, you know. And
it's not the Olivier's.
Not the Olivier's. No, but we have some very, very talented people in the group. There's no question of that when it comes to the acting.
Well, that's the thing. I'm pretty convinced that there's at least 1 artist per every square foot within Delgany and Greystone.
Absolutely.
In different ways,
different things, different ways. Yeah, without a doubt.
So it just seemed like a very natural fit for this.
It's a natural sort of thing to do, and it's sort of we thrive. We seem to attract in new members to the group nearly every season.
Yeah.
There's one or two come knocking on the door saying, "Can we come and join you?" And we're open door for everyone. We're always delighted to welcome people.
Well, actors inherently have issues they're trying to deal with. There's a lot of people with issues too. So the mixture of both artists and people with issues.
Yeah,
it's good. It's a good, healthy
it's a good
breeding ground for actors.
It is. It's a good mix, I suppose, from that point of view. They can lose themselves.
We should mention that the arrival of Greystone's players is a sort of a sign too that there's always growth in this area. That there's always going to be so many people who.
The sadness about Greystone's theatre is that it took so long to get up and running.
Yeah.
But the fact that it is now up and running is fantastic, and it's a great tribute. To
I think Ross had this idea that it had to be right as opposed to let's just get it out. Let's make sure.
I just hope people support it, and it does go well. I know the beginnings have been good, so hopefully it will continue.
Well, I've said it before, but I think we're kind of having to almost readjust our sets because we're so many of us, including myself, are in pajamas by 7 or 8 o'clock. And you switch off with very cheap booze and a huge telly, and before you know it, it's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock.
But I think there's a great place for local theatre, and we certainly find that with Bray now. My experience with Bray in the depths of January, the final week in January for the Bray Festival, and people come out. They come out in their droves. We fill that theatre, the Mermaid Theatre in Bray, every night. And I think there's a great place for local theatre because people don't want to travel to the city. You can tempt them perhaps out of their armchair to a local theatre, but you won't tempt them necessarily into the city and all the travelling and the parking and all the problems that go with it.
I think it's definitely there when people realise just how easy it is to just and it is that there's an unbelievable magic happens in a room with any kind of form of art, whether it's music or film or theatre. That is nothing like you'll get just at home. You can enjoy a piece of work, but to share it in a room with a bunch of strangers, it just magnifies.
There's nothing like live theatre, when it comes down to that. And quite honestly, there's very little like amateur live theatre because the amateur theatre is thriving.
Right.
And it's, as I say, stacked with talent. Not only here, elsewhere as well.
And there's a love and a passion and a playfulness to it at that level where
there is.
Because you can always worry that the very kind of high end of it gets a little bit sort of regimental and predictable. Yeah. But here there's a sort of a spontaneity that
there is, and people wouldn't be doing it if they didn't enjoy what they're doing.
Yeah. We should mention now, Aideen Walton is a great director, but she's very competitive. Have you noticed anybody with a baseball bat lurking outside in the car park? Just while we get close to the opening night, it's so very, very competitive sometimes. But
not our experience.
Okay,
I'm glad to say.
Just put the word out to the other actors, just to watch.
Just to watch for that.
Right before you cross any room.
Just to watch for that. You might be in that. I know you're right. Yes, you can't be too sure. Now the other plays, I suppose we should talk about the other plays.
Of course, we're giving Peter Robbie a nice big slap on the back.
Giving him the he's opening our program this time round. The second play is as you say, Arnold Bennett, a little known playwright in some ways, and a playwright of the 1890s and the early 1900s. Okay. And this is a piece that's called The Stepmother. It's described as a polite farce. It might be more correctly described as a comedy of manners.
Nice.
But it's a nice little piece about a stepmother and her stepson. She is a popular novelist who doesn't get quite the critical acclaim she feels she should.
All novelists feel that way.
And she has a very attractive secretary stroke companion who has a thing for the stepson, and the stepson gets banished. Little does she realise that there's a doctor living below her in the flat below hers in London, set in London, who has a thing for her. So it's quite interesting.
Sounds like a sitcom.
Quite interesting little piece.
We're on the road.
Well on the road to something there. Yeah. And our final piece is quite a serious drama. Yeah. And it's by a guy called Geoffrey Grenfell Hill. Yeah. It's called The Exiles, and it's about Russian emigres after the revolution in Paris. The interesting thing is where a countess, white Russian clearly, who's now living in Paris in rather poor circumstances, but clearly feels that the old Russia is all around her, and she treats her servants as they are the peasant folk who she's brought out of Russia with her with utter contempt.
Right.
And there's an interesting twist in that play. Something very worth viewing from a safe distance. So definitely.
I think it's €10. I think, but I know
12 and 10. 12 and 10 concessions. Right. Tickets available at the door, and there is a box office number which, by coincidence, happens to be my mobile number.
Okay, and
anyone rings me, I just pop them on things. That'd be great. Yeah.
I mean, we'll mention too. Most importantly, is beyond all the art and the wonderful contribution from the actors and the playwrights and all that, there is wine and there is a raffle
and there's always a glass of wine at the end. We like to send people home happy, so a complimentary glass of wine to round off the evening.
You don't get that at the Old Vic. You don't get that
I
at
bet
the.
you don't.
It nicely done, and we're here at, as I said, people know this gorgeous building, the old schoolhouse. But yeah, look forward to it. Well done.
They will indeed. Great.